Hi everyone, and welcome to Club Live here at Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. We are live as always on YouTube tonight, so get your comments in as we may try our best to answer a couple of questions too. Unfortunately, we're here to talk about bloody Rangers. I'm sick of talking about Rangers, but we're here to talk about them and preview the Hearts game tonight as well. So we have a full house tonight. Mr. Carney is taking a break tonight, so he is not on, but aye, a full house anyway. Scotia, how are you tonight? You've not been on a couple of podcasts, but you're back.
Evening, Ali. Evening, lads. Evening, listeners. No, I am all right. The last podcast I was on was the Tuesday night game, and I thought that, or the Tuesday night pre-game pod we done, and I thought it was quite an upbeat pod for a change. I know how Rangers disappoint us and make this one tonight probably going to be back to the normal kind of negativity that we tend to come out with. The game on Wednesday night was not great at all, but I'm good, and that's the main thing at the minute.
Yes, we will unfortunately have to touch on the game on Wednesday night. You've not had your say on it, Scotia, so we will be coming to you on that, so get ready for it. Craig, you were obviously in the post-match, myself and Carney. I bet you're the same as me and you're glad to come on tonight and talk even more about it.
Guys, I was absolutely delighted to be here tonight. When I seen part of the agenda was to go over everything we went over on Wednesday night. The Motherwell game, I couldn't wait to get on, so raring to go.
No, I know. But you need to do these things, unfortunately. As me and Carney said in the post-match for Motherwell, there's been worse post-matches we've been on, to be fair, over the years with Rangers. So, yeah, it is a bit of a roller coaster with them. But last but not least, Ross McLean, you've not been on, and I don't know, the last time you know, it was a while. I know it's is it dissertation season for university, so we'll let you off in doing that. How are you?
All good, thank you. All good. Yes, it is. It's thick and fast, quite like the fixtures that are on their way very, very shortly for Rangers. It's very, very good to be on. It's good to be back. Massive weekend coming up. Very disappointing midweek, but as I say, the games are not stopping anytime soon, so we can't mull over it too long. But yes, very excited to get into it tonight, gents. Although it was disappointing, it's always good to come and have a chat about it.
Yeah. Scotia, what's that game you've got in the background? Your telly there, I can see it in the corner. What is it?
Oh, that one there's the Airdrie St Johnstone game. The one on my phone is the Pisa AC Milan game.
Scotia will be covering the Airdrie St Johnstone game tonight. All the goals flying in, so we'll find out during the podcast who wins that game. But let's get into it. Motherwell game Wednesday night. Myself, Craig, and Carney covered. I think we were on for the best part of nearly 40 minutes the other night talking about it. Unfortunately, Scotia, I'll come to you before we touch on the game. The starting lineup that Danny Rule went with. What was your thoughts on when you seen that starting lineup? I know the group chat kind of came alive before we kicked off in terms of us all texting each other saying that is the wrong team. In hindsight, we can say we were correct, but what was your initial reaction when you seen that team lineup against Motherwell?
Same as everyone, really. I think, I wasn't impressed with it. If you go through it, the back line. Actually, on Tuesday night, I had Tav as my right back, but then I scribbled it out while we were doing the pod and opted for Sterling. And I know Ryan had said Magoma over Romans. So the back line, I wasn't awfully surprised with, and I wasn't overly concerned with. Midfield for me, I had the feeling it was going to do this, but I had kind of in my team selection on Tuesday, I opted to just kind of play the two midfielders and play a proper 10 in front of them, rather than going with all three of Chikwani, Raskin and Diamande. Now, I can understand why he's done it, to kind of dominate the midfield, but that failed completely as the following game showed. And then up front, I wasn't impressed with up front. I know I did have Gassama and Moore in my team, but I had Moore playing as a 10, I had Gassama playing in the left wing, and I didn't have Chermiti. I don't like those three up top together. When Gassama's out on the right, Moore on the left, and Chermiti through the middle, we've seen quite often enough that it doesn't really offer anything for us. That was the main concern for me. The front three, I can understand the other ones, the players that were selected further back in the team.
Yeah, no, I know. It's that front three doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. Ross, same similar question to you there. What was your thoughts on looking at that lineup? Obviously, after the Queen's Park game, where I know it was only Queen's Park, but as Craig mentioned in the post-match, we'd built a bit of momentum, scored goals. Some of the new guys got minutes in the legs as well, scored goals as well. Nadiri got 2 goals. You thought going into this game, Motherwell, Danny Rule would play, you would think, his strongest team. Obviously, he didn't. There's reasons why, which he's still not alluded to. He's kind of said, people may have said he can't play certain players, but what was your thoughts on the starting lineup as well? Were you as the same boat as us, that when you seen that, you did fear for us, if you, to be polite?
I genuinely think that lineup was one Asgard starting away from absolute meltdown. Genuinely, the response from that starting 11, it's complete night and day from the kind of sentiment of the fans recently. Everyone was in the exact same boat. My wee brother rhymed off the starting 11 to me on Wednesday, and I was rushing about a bit. I didn't quite clock on to it, and then it wasn't until I looked back at it and went, "Where's the Deary? Where's Romans? Where's Olsen?" It very much, it screamed out to me, he's going there just not to lose. I don't know if he completely underestimated Motherwell. Motherwell are a very, very decent side, gents. Honestly, they are. Jens Bertolaska's got them playing some cracking football. Hadn't conceded a goal since Halloween last year at Fir Park. So, I genuinely think that, I don't know if he just underestimated them, because for me, you'd argue that from the form that Hearts are finding a way. Motherwell away is potentially a trickier fixture than what's coming up on Sunday on paper, because of how well Motherwell have been. So I was very, very surprised to see how rotated it was, and how, in the nicest way possible, how weak it was for what Rangers should be putting out. So I was very, very frustrated with it. Obviously, we'll come into the game, and it started off, and you think, right, it's a bit of a masterstroke because we're kicking on the front foot. But for me, I hope Daniel's found out now, before it's too late, that you need to start your best players. You need to start them, in these midweek games, these games and Sunday. I know that there's circumstances, etc., but you need to try and field as many of your best players as possible, because could this be 2 points drop that literally decides the league title? I don't know. We'll come on to the game. But yes, very, very confusing starting 11, and one that I hope we don't make that mistake again.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, he probably played a stronger lineup against Queen's Park in a cup. I mean, if it's a case with sports science and all this nonsense that players can only play certain minutes, etc., I would have flipped it and played certain players for the Motherwell game and not play them against Queen's Park, if that's the case, if that's what we're talking about here. But I mean, sports science is not. I know it's a modern day thing, but way back, that was never a thing. Players should be able to play 2 games a week, for God's sake. They're athletes. Craig, obviously, we're a couple of days down the line from us doing our post-match on a Wednesday night. Has your thoughts changed at all on the game in the cold light of day? Have you looked back and changed? Are you still very similar to me? I was still very annoyed the next day, and I'll be honest, my thoughts haven't changed whatsoever about that result and performance on Wednesday night. What about yourself? Have you mellowed, or are you in the same camp as me?
I certainly wouldn't say mellowed. Probably in the same camp as yourself and everybody else. The starting 11 let us down. The performance was worse than the start of 11. The application for the players on the park on the night. But no, I've not kind of mellowed out since it. Like Ross says, I just hope we don't kind of make the same mistake again, and he has to change things getting into what's now a massive game on Sunday. Aye.
There's not much to say about it.
Honestly, it's just one of the games that I just want to kind of quickly move on from, try to get back to winning ways.
No, unfortunately, we need to talk about it again to fill the podcast, because Scotia and Ross obviously haven't had their say on it. But Scotia, we obviously got the perfect start, if you want to say, in terms of the goal we scored. I thought it was a good goal. Diamande turning, driving with a ball. Raskin done well to put the ball in the back of the net. But after that, we just, again, it was laboured. It was slow. Motherwell were on the front foot. they like to play the nice free triangles, etc. They're good in the ball. Motherwell are good off the ball. But again, another first half Scotia, and we said it in the post-match. We've seen it against Dundee. We've seen it against Kilmarnock as well, at Ibrox, Hibs as well. And this is another half, although we took the lead, that I just thought we looked laboured again. And I said on the post-match, they just don't look like a group of players going for a title. What was your thoughts on the first half, Scotia? Because it's another half gone by that we just look laboured on a ball all the time.
The first half was rank, if we're being honest, other than the goal, like you say. It was a nice wee breakaway after they had a opportunity to score themselves. Broke up the pitch. Nice wee bit of play by Demandi and Raskin. And Raskin knocks it away. Obviously, the away support all thought it was Moore. If I'm being honest, I thought it was Moore at first. I was watching it as well. And then I seen that, watched the replay and seen it was Raskin, but they were still chanting away at the other end about the Wee Moore song. No, the first half was rank, and it's one of these ones. See, because we've seen this team play before, like in this kind of way, I thought Motherwell were really good that game. They properly dominated us for large spells of that game, I thought. So yeah. Part of me is like, is it because Motherwell were that much better and they stopped us playing well, but it's the fact that I've seen us play like this before. I think it's probably a combination of the two. Motherwell didn't really allow us a chance to get into the game, and I don't think this team likes it, to be honest, when that happens to them. There's certainly that starting lineup and the players that are in it, barring Chikwani, don't really like that. So it was. I thought it was a terrible first half. After the goal, we just regressed, and it was a case of, I want to hear that whistle. And you're already considering changes, which I know you'll probably come on to too, but the changes that Rule made, they were more concerning to me than the starting lineup. I thought he got the substitutions massively wrong. Yeah,
Andy Hillis. Thank you very much, Andy Hillis. Much appreciated. On to Sunday. Ibrox needs to be rocked on Sunday for it. We'll get there. But Ross, obviously, at the first half, as we discussed, it wasn't great. I did think, and again, talking to each other in the group chat, that after that first half, how laboured it was and how Motherwell kind of had most of the ball, if you've been honest about it. I thought he would have made changes at half-time. He didn't make changes at all. Were you surprised at half-time that he didn't make any changes with regards to the first half and how poor we played?
Yeah, I think hindsight is a wonderful thing. Of course, obviously we look back and go, you'd go straight from the start of the second 45 and completely rip it up. So I don't know if he just the kind of standard approach, give them 10 minutes, see how they do. But I would have made changes myself. I think that first half shows you need a number 9 who's going to score the single chances that come your way. Chamiti would have been that first sub for me. That chance in the whatever it was, where he does really well. He gambles. The defender makes an absolute mess of it, and he does his intelligent striker play because he anticipates that he's going to make a mess of it. You've got to bag that. You've got to, because you go in at half time 2-0, then you can, I would have probably actually seen him make more changes potentially then than maybe at 1-0. Does he go right? Put foot in the throat there, like actually go for it. I don't know if maybe at 1-0 he didn't want to change it too much, but the changes had to be made. They had to be made. The first half as a whole was very poor. The other bit of quality that I can think of from the game was an outstanding clearance from Raskin from a header where generally the two Motherwell defenders, I think it was, the smallest guy in the park, you'd argue Raskin leaps above the both of them. Absolutely tremendous from him. And of course the goal was first class. Very, very well worked. But you go into the second half and 45 minutes with a 1-goal lead against, again, as I say, a team like Motherwell in that form, you can't risk it. There's no chance. So for me, I would have I love Gassama to bits, genuinely I do, and I'm probably bad for it because I praise him whenever he does a step over, and that's about it for the game. But that's good enough for me. I would have brought on Olsen straight away. I would have made changes like that. I still think Mikey Moore's wasted out wide. genuinely, how many times, if we spoke about playing players in the wrong positions, etc., you've seen them in the 10. That yes, you caveat it, it's it's playing against a lot of opposition, but Mikey Moore in the 10 was outstanding at Ibrox. I think whenever we saw him first, I think it was the Old Firm at Hampden. He was brilliant. So there's so many wee things that he could have done in that game just to kind of switch it up a bit. But again, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and it's 2 points dropped.
Yeah, Craig, the substitutions, the first substitution he made was Nadiri came on just after 60 minutes for Diamandi. Diamandi was on a booking. Obviously, Motherwell go down to 10 men, which was a shocking challenge. Went to VAR. As soon as I went to VAR, I think we all went, that's definitely a red. It was. At that point, you thought we would kick on, make changes to go positive, to kill the game. But Danny Rule went and brought Fernandez on and went to kind of shut up shop against a 10-man Motherwell, which I thought was extremely negative, especially when you're playing against 10 men. And ultimately, we get bit in the arse and got what we deserved. Motherwell got an equaliser in the last minute of the game. Well worthy of their equaliser. Probably should have won the game, for being honest about it. But it was, he had a poor night, Danny Rule. From the initial team lineup to substitutions, everything about it. I think he got everything wrong in the night. The players don't help him either. But that negative approach, for me, that's what you get. If you're going to be negative like that, that's exactly what you deserve to get with Danny Rule, and I just hope he learns from it.
Like we say, we kind of spoke about it in length in the post-match the other night. The substitutions were baffling, and it was substitutions that were never going to impact the game on a positive way for us. You probably kind of had to put maybe strength into your kind of wide positions to stop them playing down the sides and kind of see the game out that way. Tello Asgard coming on, like we says, made absolutely no sense. Majowski, for me again, made absolutely no sense. You could have brought maybe Ant-Man on for a bit of pace as an outball. You could have played Romans to kind of give Magoma a rest, and even if it was only for 10 minutes, I think he's one of the players that they kind of alluding to sports science has kind of ruled out. But if he's on the bench, give him 10, 15 minutes, he could have made a big difference. So the substitutions were baffling, and ultimately is what lost us the 2 points. But going forward, like we says, it could possibly be a good point in the end. But at this moment in time, the way we're looking at it in this title race, it's 2 points dropped. So yeah, substitutions were baffling. Has to get the team right on Sunday, and I think he knows from the outside noise that he has got it wrong, and I think he'll realise that now.
Yeah, Scotia, his substitutions I thought were poor. Certain players, we talk about Chimiti through the middle. He's not an actual striker, Chimiti. You've seen that with that one chance. I think you've got to play Nadiri. Gassama has been missing for weeks, if I've been honest about it. But he did come out afterwards, Danny Rule. And I know English isn't his first language, but I mean, he's very good at English, if I've been honest about it. But he did come out with a comment that I think upset a lot of the Rangers support in terms of how he said it, in terms of he said if he was offered a point beforehand, along the lines of that, he would have taken it possibly, which isn't probably what we want to hear after drawing a game, especially being a goal up, 10 men against 10 men as well, and for a manager to come out and say, well, maybe a point's not a bad thing. In hindsight, it may be, but at the same time, I think we said, Scotia, on Tuesday night, mentality-wise, we had to go and win that game of football to put a marker down and to give us a chance to go potentially top of the league on Sunday, but ultimately they failed again. But do you think you'll learn from it, Danny Rule? Do you think you'll learn from... we've praised him, and rightly so we've praised him, but this is the first real slight bashing he's had from the fans. But do you think he'll learn from it in terms of... I know we're going to cover the Hearts game, but will he learn from that game, do you reckon?
Yeah, quite possibly. But I mean, managers are bombarded with pretty much the same questions again and again and again and again and again and again. Like, when was the press conference for today's game or Sunday's game today? So you're all, not even 48 hours after we played the Motherwell game. He's getting asking the same questions. So there's always going to be potential chances for him to say something that he perhaps shouldn't say. So I think he's always been pretty decent in his interactions with the media. But from what he says, yeah, you're right. It's not what you want to hear after you've the manner of the performance, the manner of the defeat. It's the fact as well, if you think about it, obviously we done the pod and we were sitting watching the Hibs Hearts game. And then after we finished it, you sit and watch it. Hearts win the game with a late goal. You're sitting watching the Rangers game on Wednesday night. Celtic win the game with a late goal. And then we draw the game with a late goal. It's just that puts you in a worse mood even more, doesn't it? So coming out and saying that straight after it, yeah. But I think I alluded to this on the pod on Tuesday. Is that managers see the game slightly different than us fans will.
Yeah,
they'll probably look at the bigger picture. We are living in the moment. He can't really live in the moment as a manager because if he comes out and says the things that the fans want to hear, you'll probably find that you'll have an awful lot of unhappy players to deal with. And you know what it's like playing Champ Man. If you keep on pressing the wrong button and saying the wrong thing, no one wants to extend their contract or anything with you. So it's a very fine line he needs to walk. I wasn't too bothered with it, mate, to be honest. I didn't even watch it. As soon as the game finished and before the game finished, the telly was off and I was away doing other things. No point in dwelling on it. But it was my kind of opinion of the game on Wednesday night there. But obviously had to come on and do this for the last 20 minutes or so. But
yeah, it's a bit interesting what his lineup is in Sunday against Hearts. But I mean, he's had a lot of praise, Danny Rule, and he's got to take this one to the chin. It happens. It does happen, but it's whether he learns from it. Ross, what's your thoughts on Rule's comments as well after the game? In terms of a draw may not be that bad a result. As Scotia says, in terms of he doesn't have an affiliation with Rangers in terms of he's a diehard supporter like us that everything can be a disaster. You're living it. You're living it all the time with Rangers at the moment. It's been an absolute. I don't think it helps that this season has been so much of a roller coaster being a Rangers fan that you're up, you're down, you think you've got a chance, and then you get these, as I say, booting the balls now and again, which you'd expect with Rangers. So it's difficult. He's quite calm and collected, Danny Rule, in terms of how he puts things across in terms of, well, that it's still in our own hands technically if we win all our games left, etc. So what was your thoughts on his comment afterwards? Did it annoy you, or did you agree with Danny Rule in terms of it was a decent point for Rangers?
Yeah, it's always hard to say it's a decent point, especially in the circumstances. You're facing 10 men, you're 1-0 up, and you're Rangers. Simply, you're Rangers. You know, that's never for me. I think, thankfully, he elaborated on it today in his presser, and I don't think that's what he was going for. Thankfully, because as I say, that's not a comment you want to be making. But listen, I think it's very easy to and deservedly put the blame on Danny Rule after Wednesday. The guy's done a lot of good. He has done a lot of good. I have seen a fair whack of you go on Twitter, etc. And over the top is maybe not the word, but there's fans definitely making the point known that they're not happy with Danny Rule. I think it's a blip. It is a blip, and it's important to try and remember it's a blip. As long as it is, of course. Like if it doesn't change on Sunday, then that's a different story. But I do think just now he's a few days ago we were praising him, and after the result at Motherwell, yes, it's frustrating, but I can't be too harsh on the guy. I can't be too brutally harsh on him. I think if you come away from this week, considering that we have dropped points, if we come away with 4 points out of the 6 out of these next 2 games, you'd maybe sit back and go, that's all right. Obviously, the kind of the one thing in the way of that is that your league leaders are come to our gaff, so it's far from a guaranteed 4 points. But I do think that 4 points wouldn't be completely unacceptable for the circumstances that we're in. But definitely, one thing that needs to change is that we can't be looking to, for example, draw a game. We can't be looking to hold a 1-0 game. For me, Celtic don't drop points late then because they find a knack of scoring late goals. Hearts show that they don't do it. Look at that game at Hibs; they're scoring late. Rangers don't yet have that. We don't yet have that kind of last few minutes. If I was to go back, and there might be one before it, the last time I can think that we really scored a late goal that mattered was Igaman at Parkhead. Remember, like how late that was? That was probably the last kind of big chance, kind of like you've seen over the last few weeks with other sides of the Glasgow, other teams in the league. Rangers don't have that, and I think that's probably if we want to turn from a team who has that mentality of maybe taking 1 point instead of 3, that's what needs to change. Actually having that bit of cutting edge, just that's what league winners will do. But Rangers, as I said, don't yet have that. So 4 points out of 6 wouldn't be the complete end of the world, but that's not a mentality that I think we can fully resonate with, mate. Like, I'm sure you boys will agree that it's 6 points out of 6 going forward. But I'll let Wednesday go. I'll try and stay positive. It's Friday. We've got a big game coming up, and yes, I'll be wearing the Germany top very soon. That's for sure. Daniel is still in my good books.
Ross, I've got a wee question for you.
Yeah.
That point you take up about that. See, when those 6 minutes went up on the board on Wednesday night, in fact, to you, Ali and Craig as well, did any of you think we were going to do anything in those 6 minutes? I know, given the way we were playing was poor, but even still, it's us.
No,
Absolutely not.
And you took what I was just about to say there, Scotia, after what Ross was saying there. Flip it. If that's Celtic going 1 each at Fir Park with 6 minutes left on the board, you fully expect them to score. Because they've got the mentality, they've been there, done it, they do that. And you look at as Scotia's frozen up in the top hand corner after that comment. But I agree with what Scotia was saying there. As soon as they scored and it was 6 minutes added time, it could have been 60 minutes added time. I knew Rangers were not scoring. They don't do it. They never seem to do it, Rangers. They don't have it. And if you've been honest, Motherwell looked the best team in in the injury time. They were the ones that were going for the winner. We were hanging on. And you're back there, Scotia. You were frozen for a wee while there. But I agree with what you're saying, Scotia, because no, I didn't for 1 second think that Rangers were going to score in the 6 minute added time. And like I said to the boys there when you were frozen, I don't know if you heard, if you flip it and it's Celtic, and they were in our position, you'd fully expect them to go and find a winner somewhere. But again, I think it goes down to mentality. I think our heads go down and they go, oh, for fuck's sake, etc. I just don't think they have it, Scotia, unfortunately. Craig, what's your thoughts on that?
Exactly what you says, mate. If it was Celtic, like you says, I mean, they've proven it twice, and what's that, twice in 2 games now that they've scored in injury time to win games, or well, to draw, take a game to extra time. They've done it since as far back as I can remember. We've always been the team that seems to struggle when it comes to getting these last-minute winners. I know what Ross was kind of alluding to, the game where Igaman scored at Celtic Park. But even that goal, the league was already done at that point. That was more or less just a game we were playing for pride. I can't remember, looking back, the last time we actually scored a goal in the last minute to win a game of note. That actually was a meaningful game. But like you say, I just don't think this squad and previous squads over the last few seasons, to be honest, have got that kind of winning mentality in them. I think they're a team that have just kind of become used to being the second fiddle to Celtic, where we need to kind of change that narrative going forward. But we are right in the middle of a title race. Going out in the park and actually prove that yous believe the same as the fans do. Like you says, Motherwell the other night, for more or less the whole 90 minutes, looked like the only team likely to score a goal, apart from the Chermiti chance that he misses, obviously. But even outside that, I can't remember many real chances that we actually created in the match. Motherwell looked like the team that were actually playing in the title race, in my opinion. But again, it's something that we really need to change quickly. If we want to win this title, we need to play like we're in the title race. Yeah,
I agree. And you look at the last 2 away games, Hibs and Motherwell. If a neutral was watching that and you said Rangers in a title race, you're having a laugh. They don't. They just, to me, they just don't look like a team in a title race. I don't know what it is. And I know Celtic have let us back in big style this season. I know we went in a decent run, but Celtic have helped by dropping so many points, and we've found ourselves in a title race, if you want to say. But they just don't look like they want to be there, Rangers. I don't know. There's just something about it with me that they just, I don't think they have the mentality to go the next X amount of games and go and win a league title. I really don't think they have it. Scotia, you look at league table at the moment, I think you've said this a good few weeks ago in terms of the amount of draws Rangers have had, and you don't win league titles with that amount of draws. Rangers have drawn 10 games in the league this season, which is shocking. They've only been beaten twice, but they've drawn 10 games, and that is not league-winning stats, if you want to say, Scotia. The next few games coming up, obviously, we'll touch on Hearts, but we've got Hearts come to Ibrox, away to Livingston, and Celtic come to Ibrox. 3 massive, massive games. And if we win them all, we could potentially be top of the league if Hearts drop and we beat Hearts, etc. So it's still there for us, but 10 draws so far in the league, Scotia, that may at the end of the season come back and bite us in the arse.
Yeah, I think it will. I think when did I first raise that point? I think it was maybe when in our sixth, maybe even back to our fifth. No, probably this is the 6th draw we had. And I was like, that's not league winning material, particularly at the time that those 6 draws had occurred. It was probably November time last year that maybe even earlier. I can't quite remember, but we've dropped points in 12 games, amassing to a totally 26 points dropped. If you look at Hearts and Celtic, they've both dropped points in 9 games. For Hearts, that's 27 points they've dropped, and for Celtic, it's 24 points they've dropped. Obviously, Hearts is there; they've lost 3 more, and they're 5 points ahead, and that comes down to the draws. I don't know if it was yourself, Craig, that maybe said, or maybe Ryan. I can't remember who, but some of those draws earlier in the season, we were lucky to draw them. If you're being honest, they weren't like a draw's a fair result. It was like Rangers hung on there. So yeah, for me, 10 points, 10 draws so far this season. And if you're being honest, you probably do expect more over the coming games. Like for the rest of it, 12 games left for us in this season, isn't there?
Yeah.
Can you, if you're being honest, can you see us winning all of them and not dropping points with draws in there? And the fact that we've not lost so many games is obviously gets us where we are at the minute, sitting second. But yeah, I think 10 games drawn's far too much, if we're being honest. I think you've said it before, Ali. The points total tally for this season is going to be surprisingly low compared to other seasons. And I mentioned it on Tuesday night as well. Even the teams below the top 3, they're actually still quite close in comparison to where you would maybe usually find them at this stage of the season. But yeah, like you say, 3 massive. I would go as far as saying 5. The next 5 games, 5 Sundays, unfortunately, as well, that we're playing on. You'd like a wee Saturday game in there, if not. But 5 games that I think. Carney asked the question the other night: is it must win for the game last night? And I kind of skirted around the issue a wee bit and kind of used the hindsight card and things like that. But I think the next 5 games, because 2 of them are against Hearts and Celtic in the league, are must win, because they're kind of like 6 pointers, if you want to say, in terms of those games, in terms of not letting them gain any points on you, and you pulling away slightly more. So massive sort of month ahead going up to that St Mirren game, because if you beat Hearts and you win your next 3 league games, Hearts, Livy and Celtic, you don't want to then slip up by you losing your next league game against St Mirren. I think that we're playing away that Sunday.
Yeah, no, I agree, Craig, that the next, if you want to take it as the next 3 games we're talking about, Hearts, Livingston, Celtic at Ibrox, it's got to be 9 points. If Rangers are serious to do anything in this title race, and you need to remember, in the split, we're going to be away to Tynecastle and Celtic Park, potentially somewhere else as well. But the next 3 games for Rangers has to be 9 points for me. If it's anything less than 9 points, I don't think we'll do anything at all.
No, the good thing is I think we'll be at home to Motherwell in the split, so I suppose that's a blessing. But no, 100%. Like I mean, at this stage in the season, every game is going to be really important anyway. We know that, regardless of who it is. Livingston away is just as important as Celtic at home. But Hearts are in the same scenario as us. Celtic are in the same scenario as us. We probably will all drop more points for now at the end of the season. I think that's inevitable. But if we're going to go out there, and even if we're dropping points, we want to be leaving everything on the park every single game.
Yeah.
It's more the performances that I really need to improve for me. The games will take care of themselves as long as we're putting in the performance on the park. But Sunday, starting with Hearts, if we don't win on Sunday, for me it's curtains for the league this season. We can say, we're still in it technically, but it's going to be a long way back if we don't take all 3 points. So, yep, going forward for now, I don't think there's there's much room for any more slip-ups.
Yeah, I agree. I think us as Rangers fans, although we may not like it, but we can take it if we drop points, if we leave it all in the park. See if Rangers went and battered Motherwell during the week and the goalkeeper had the game of his life or whatever it was, you wouldn't be happy about it, but you could at least sit back and go, well, at least the players have given everything on the park. I don't think they are. I don't think they are at all at the moment, these players. And ultimately, that's why I personally I just don't think they'll have enough to get over the line this season. I really don't. I know a couple of guys in the comments are saying I'm talking here as if Celtic and Hearts won't drop points. Celtic and Hearts, I think, will drop points, but my issue is I think we'll drop more points than those two. That's the issue I've got. I don't. I know we've went on a kind of run before the Hibs game. The game's coming up, the split, I just don't see us going on a run. I agree with Scotia. I think we've got to win pretty much every game up to the split. I really do. To give us a right good chance going into that split. Ross, on paper, I know I'm quite negative. People think I'm quite negative in this podcast, but on paper, if you look at it, it's still there. It's still in our hands. We've got a chance to go 2 points behind Hearts. We've got a chance to obviously beat Livingston, beat Celtic at Ibrox to go ahead of Celtic even more. Obviously, they've got their game in hand against Aberdeen the midweek after they play us too. So it's still there, technically. What's your thoughts on the next games up to the split? Are you in the same opinion as the rest of us that it's really got to be maximum points up to that split?
It has to be, because I think the split this season is going to be genuinely sensational watching for the neutral. We're not neutrals. The ticker will be going off its nut, as I say. Genuinely, it'll be nervy times. I think the top six is confirmed, right? I think that's probably quite clear. It'll be Falkirk, Hibs, Motherwell, then us three at the top. All six of those teams will take points off each other. 100%. It's bound to happen. I think Craig makes a good point. Motherwell at home, that's good. That's solid, because we've seen Motherwell away.
Is it good though?
Well, I know that's the thing. It's better than it could have been. You're right, because obviously Motherwell are still a good side. But for me, I can't predict how our points will go in the split. Because even you look at the likes of, I think our last game before the split, I've got the fixtures here. Falkirk away isn't easy either, and I can't believe I'm saying that. Obviously, it just came up this season, but John McGlynn's he's got them playing some not bad football at all, and away from home. I don't know how I'd see us fare against a Falkirk. I'll be honest. I think barring the Old Firm games and obviously Hearts at the weekend, Rangers have not bad fixtures. I don't think the fixtures are too bad. Livingston away, they're bottom of the league. I can't not say that's a good fixture for Rangers. Even on the Plastic Park. St Mirren away. Yes, St Mirren, they won a cup this season. We've struggled up there. They've still fairly struggled after winning that cup. It's still a team that Rangers need to be putting away. Aberdeen at home, don't mind it. Genuinely do not mind it. Likewise, Dundee United at home. Obviously, I'm saying this now. I cannot wait to be clipped everywhere on Twitter. Genuinely, I'm delighted when it will come because I know exactly what will happen. But I think you have to look at those fixtures and go, they're actually not bad considering what will then follow. As we say, Celtic away, Hearts away, etc. We need to take maximum from every single game there. As simple as it is, genuinely as simple as I know it's a fair whack to ask for, but I think the fixtures are not too bad for us, mate. We need to fully capitalise on them. So it all starts on Sunday, though. It all starts on Sunday because the scary thing is that these split fixtures we know nothing about, and it will be whenever that draw is made for those games, everyone will keep their eyes on it because every single game will have some sort of story, some sort of narrative in it. I just hope we're on the good end of it, because we need to, if we want to win the league title, we need to be on the good end of all the narratives, you'd say. So yes, it's very, very exciting coming for the neutral, but we're not neutrals here, mate. We are far from neutrals.
Yeah, I like your positivity though in terms of these games coming. We did say that at the start of the season that Rangers had a kind start to the season in terms of the league fixtures. We had to look where we were under Russell Martin. But there will be twists and turns. I think it was more of a booting it boys this week during the week because the manner of our draw, the other two teams that are in for the title in terms of Hearts and Celtic, last minute winners as well. It's more of a kick in the balls when that happens. But they've got a chance, Rangers. The good thing with Rangers, and I don't want to hear about bloody sports scientists from now on and players can only play 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. We've got no midweek games all the way up in the split. I think we've got a midweek game in the split. But Craig, from now on, we are playing every weekend, no games during the week. I know Celtic are obviously in the Europa League still, which I think is good for us in terms of them playing in there. But for me, I don't want to hear any of this. Players can only play X amount of minutes from now on. We have got a week's preparation between each game until the split now. So for me, it is your best starting lineup from now to the split.
Well, we've had these kind of excuses the last few seasons because we've been going deep in Europe at this time of the season, where the players are playing midweek, training for a game in Europe, planning for the weekends, and that's the kind of ultimately what everyone was using as an excuse for not being successful at the end of the domestic season. But like you says, we've not got that excuse now. We've literally got 3 midweeks for a long time. Like you says, there's no excuses not to play your strongest 11 every single one of the games. Danny Rule knows now who he can trust, who he can't trust. Like we says again, he proven the kind of players the other night that he can't trust, and we're not going to touch on them again. So he knows he's got 4 signings that he brought in January. Every one of them look as if they've added strength to the team. We just need to go strongest 11 and then take each game by game, and then hopefully, like Ross says, at the end of the season, things are going to be in a good narrative for us.
Yep, Scotia, are you in agreement? Obviously, there's no midweek games coming up for Rangers. But you know, same as me and Craig there, that he has to play his strongest team from now to the split at least.
Yeah, I think it's the strongest team. But what I would say is, like, for example, the team that I'll select tonight against Hearts is the team that I think is going to be the strongest for that game. I kind of said it on Tuesday night as well. I think we're now in a position where for certain oppositions, there are options that you could change the team about that would be the strongest team for that opposition. So I'm not saying that there's 11 players that should be playing every week. I think there's still room to tweak that team around slightly, depending on who we're playing against, where we're playing, and things like that. But no, to agree that it needs to be the strongest 11 for each team that we're playing going forward.
Yeah, no, definitely. And obviously we've got a game to preview. Hearts come to iBooks on Sunday. The presser was today. Danny Rule was in front of the press. Weird presser. I'll stay with you, Scotia. He was asked about, which is no ideal for a podcast when we are doing it in terms of players available. He did not mention any players. He didn't say anything, which was unusual. He did say another kind of sound bite, which I didn't really like, to be honest, in terms of Rangers have the best points total out of the 3 clubs, I think, from when he's come in or whatever it is, which again, I don't want to hear about that. I just want to hear about us being top at the end of the season. And he also did mention about pressure on Hearts in terms of they were along the lines of 13, 14 points clear, and potentially they could be down to 2 points, but there will be pressure on them, which I thought Derek McInnes probably will use that wee sound bite. But did you listen to the presser today, and what was your thoughts on him not telling anyone about any team news at all?
Ali, see the evolution of me from when we started doing this pod in pressers.
You didn't listen to it.
It's unbelievable. No, when we started out, I was listening to every single presser going, trying to get all the information I could get, glean it, do this, do that. The player one quickly dropped away, and then the manager one kind of dropped away to being, right, listen to hear what they're saying about injuries, who's available for the next game. Now I don't listen to them, mate, to be honest. I'll either hear them off you, or someone will pop something up in Twitter or whatnot. that'll be able to see it. So I didn't listen to the press conference, so he didn't give anything away about injuries or anything like that. I know he mentioned the Deary had a wee niggle during the week after the game. I think he'd mentioned that, but he obviously came on and played, so hopefully there's nothing serious there. I'm hoping that he's maybe trying to kind of play mind games or something like that. What else did they say about Hearts, that we need to beat them or something? Well, clearly we do, but
He basically said, he rhymed a thing off in terms of, I think it's when he's kind of come in terms of he's got a better points total
the points
in terms of where they are in the league. And then he did say that when he came in, Hearts were, I think, 13, 14 points clear, and they could potentially only be 2 points clear of us. So there's pressure on Hearts in terms of the amount of points they've dropped. Yeah,
no, listen, I get where he's coming from with the points thing, because we've mentioned it before in terms of since he's come in, where we are, like the form had been the best. I think what perhaps annoys me about that a wee bit is Wednesday night. It all comes back to Wednesday night, because obviously had we got the 3 points on Wednesday night, then you're going into this game at the weekend with the opportunity to be top of the league, where then saying stuff like that is fine. But now that we've dropped points, we're 5 points further behind. Even if we win, we're still sitting in second. Celtic have got that game in hand with Aberdeen sitting there in the background as well. That's probably where the annoyance comes in for me, just hearing it there. But I can understand why he's kind of saying it, because he's trying to. He doesn't want to go in all doom and gloom. Let's put it that way. He needs to go out and put some positives on the table, I would say.
Yeah, Craig, I take it you've done your homework tonight and you listened to the Danny Rill's presser today in terms of what he said. What was your thoughts on the presser in terms of him not telling the press of basically who's available for tomorrow? And before I came on to you there he is, Justin Muir, what a man, as always. God bless America, Justin. And yes, I hope we get a result on Sunday. Sorry, Craig.
That's all right, no. To be honest, it was just like he says. He literally told us nothing about the game on Sunday, to be honest. I think the first question that was asked in the bit of presser that I seen was that who's available kind of thing for Sunday, and it just totally sideswiped the whole question and kind of went on to something else. It was more or less talking about the fallout for Wednesday night, as we expected him to be getting at his press conference. Like Scotia says, every single press conference you're getting asked the same questions over and over and over and over again. And that's kind of what I taken for his press conference today. It was just a case of, I've not got any information to give you regarding Sunday's game, and that's literally what it was. So there was nothing to really take out the press conference. It was a kind of, we just need to wait till Sunday and see.
Yeah, I know. Ross, what was your thoughts on it? Yes, I mean, Danny Rule, in all his press conferences since I've listened to him, he always gives an update in terms of who's available, etc. But for him to say nothing, I know it is a bit of mind games in terms of, this is a big game for us in terms of where we are, but he's playing his cards close to his chest, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think the one for me was I think he made a remark about the pressure being on Hearts. And obviously, in reality, the pressure's not on Hearts. Listen, Hearts can lose at the weekend and they'll still be in a very, very firm position. I don't mind them not saying, obviously, it's not ideal for us. We need to try and pick a team, for goodness sake, but I don't mind them not, giving too much away with injuries, etc. But, sound bites will always be there. You'll see them on Twitter, you'll see them in the headlines, etc. I mean, Wednesday is a prime example. It's all about what happens in the park. It's the age old, isn't it? So it's just about now turning that into hopefully 3 points. It will be a complete acid test on Sunday. Generally, there's a lot of optimism over the last few weeks, few months, etc. And rightly so, because we've been playing. We've not been playing great. We've been getting results. That's kind of where the optimisms came from. Sunday, it literally all comes down to, I said before we went live, gents, it's win or bust for me. It's genuinely, it is win or bust, because even if we lose, I think, what would we be, 8 points behind Hearts or something like that? I don't see us, one, not dropping points, but two, Hearts giving away an 8-point lead. Genuinely, I don't. I think Hearts could potentially drop points, but not 8 points. Not a chance. So yes, it's, the pressure, it's done, it's out the way, and it's now on to putting the product on the park, which we're at home for. We should always have optimism for being at home. That's one thing that I think. I'm glad it's in our favour. At Tynecastle, I would not be confident at all. But at Ibrox, 4:30, weird kick-off time, but we're there for it. We're there for it on a Sunday.
Yeah, Scotia, Sunday, obviously, Hearts have played 26. They've won 17, drawn 6, lost 3, sitting with 57 points. We are just behind in 52, and there's Celtic just behind us in 51. Obviously, Celtic's got the game in hand away at Pittodrie in a few weeks' time, but got to give Hearts credit to be sitting where they are after 26 games. I think most people thought Hearts would fall away maybe the Christmas period. They're still there, as we're talking about in the 13th of February. They're still top of the league. They'll fancy themselves coming to Ibrox, and rightfully so, because of the form team. They've been the form team all season, been top of the league for months and months, Hearts. You've got to take them seriously. But it's a big game. I said what Ross basically said there. I said in the post-match, it's win or bust for me on Sunday. Rangers have to win. A draw's no use for me. If Rangers get beat, that's it for me completely. A draw as well. I know a lot of folks say a draw. They're still there or thereabouts, Rangers, but for me, no, it'd be game over for me. They have to win on Sunday, Scotia. What's your thoughts going into this game on Sunday? 4:30 is a reasonable time because you can still get a wee beverage down the Viceroy. But yes, what's your thoughts going into Sunday, Scotia? And also, give me your team and your score and first goal scorer.
Yeah, like you, this one is a must-win for me. Like I say, it's one of those kind of 6-pointer games. We win, we go back within 2 points of Hearts. Like you say, I think McInnes has done a tremendous job with them. I always thought McInnes has been a decent manager, and maybe held back a wee bit at Aberdeen with things. With the way they play against Celtic being one of the prime examples that they just seem to lie down, regardless of what manager they've got. Aberdeen seem to just lie down to Celtic. But with Hearts, he's been really good. And yes, like you say, I did expect maybe them to fall away because we've seen it happen with Aberdeen, Hearts, Hibs, Motherwells, that they've done really well at the start of the season and then they just fall away because they can't pick up the points against the other teams. What Hearts have been doing this season is they've been picking points up against both ourselves and Celtic, and they've been picking up the points against the lower opposition. So you cannot go into the game treating it lightly. I did watch the Hibs Hearts game on Tuesday night, more of the second half that I actually sat and watched, and Hearts weren't very good, to be honest. If I'm being honest, Hearts didn't really impress me too much up until they scored the goal, because that's what you need to be doing to win championships. But and Hibs, to be honest, although Hibs were kind of the more dominant team, I would say, in that second half that I watched, they weren't really bothering the Hearts goalkeeper too much. And then obviously that's you watch that on the Tuesday night, and then it makes you feel a wee bit better, and then you go into the game that we played, and then it just brings your expectations back down to like a lower plane. Looking forward to it nonetheless. Like you say, good kick-off time for us because we're local. I know if people are maybe a wee bit further away, it's not that time on a Sunday's maybe not the best time to be kicking off a game of football. But yeah, really looking forward to it. My team for the game would be Butland in goals, back four of Sterling, Suter, Fernandez and Romans, Chukwani and Raskin in front of them, then Olsen, Moore and Ant-Man with Nadiri up front, and I'm going 2-0 Rangers with Olsen to score the first goal.
I like it, Scotia. Positivity. Craig, Sunday, what's your thoughts? Obviously, Celtic kick off at 2 o'clock away to Kilmarnock, so we'll know by the time we go to Ibrox on Sunday what their result is in terms of if they drop or if they win, in terms of it could put even more pressure on us. But what's your thoughts going into Sunday? And again, what's your team score and first goal scorer?
Like I says, and I kind of says it before, getting into the Motherwell game, I put Motherwell down as probably the banana skin out of the three so-called big games, and I stand by that. I fully expect Rangers to get the win on Sunday. I know a lot of people might disagree, but I fully expect Rangers to get the win. We have to get the win. It's as simple as that. We've already said it numerous times tonight. We have to get the win. So, yep, looking forward to it. Should be a good game. Should be a big crowd. Hopefully the crowd are behind the team for the first minute, to be honest, because if they're not and we start getting a couple of wee stray passes, it could turn a wee bit toxic. I hope not. That's not going to be the case. Early goal, settle in theirs and kick on. My team, exact same as Scotia's. The only thing is, and I think it was Andy Hillis in the chat there, kind of made a point a couple of minutes ago about Raskin. I'm going to keep Raskin in for this game, but I think should he have another poor performance, I know he scored against Motherwell, but he's really no impact in games much, and I think he's a player that could maybe come out, and Diamonde, who is impacting games more, could come in, but I'm leaving Raskin in, so exact same team as Scotia. I'll go 2-1 Rangers. I think Hearts will score, and I'm going to put Mikey Moore down as the first goal scorer.
Craig, Diamante
Like
starting for me gives me the fear of a red card. That game, that's why I wouldn't have played him. But
He always does, Scotia. He always does have to kind of run the risk of a red card. I think that's just the way that he plays, unfortunately. But I think Diamonde in recent games has offered more than what Raskin has. Again, I know he scored the other night, but Raskin, for me, I talk about him all the time in the concourse. I just think he doesn't offer as much as he should be. So that's my thoughts on that one.
I agree. I Diamante's been the better out of the two of them at the moment. I think he impacts the game more. Diamante, he's frustrating at times, Diamante, but Raskin, I think Raskin will be away in the summer. If I've been honest about it, I think he'll leave after the World Cup probably. But Ross, what is your thoughts for Sunday? And again, your team scoring first goal scorer.
I'm gonna go this. Genuinely, I'm going to go the same team as you, gents. I think Tav starts. Genuinely, I do think Tav starts. I think there's a right argument for Sterling to start. Genuinely, mate, I do. Yeah.
I thought it was dreadful during the week, if I'm being honest.
Hearts win.
Yeah. Hearts win, I know. It's, I've seen many a times Tav pull us out with a goal and assist, etc. I reckon he starts. It'd be interesting with Sterling. But I don't know if I'd prefer Tav over Sterling. I just think Tav will probably start. Starting your captain in a game like that, I reckon it's just I kind of sit and forget. But I'm gonna go 2-1 Rangers. I agree. I think Rangers will win. Genuinely, I do. I think Hearts they've had an outstanding understatement for the season they've had. But you look obviously dropping points against St Mirren, that performance against Hibs, far from ideal. I reckon they're there to be got. If we're going to beat them, it's just now. And that's when we aren't playing necessarily great, but Hearts aren't in the best of form either. So we need to capitalise on it. I'm saying 2-1 Rangers. Who'd I want my first goal scorer to be? Finlay Curtis, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll wait and see about that game. Yeah, you've upset a few folk in the comments.
Can I change mine to Finlay Curtis as well? Sorry.
Yeah, you've upset a couple of folk in the comments about Tav starting to right. But I thought Tav, a lot of players were poor on Wednesday. I thought Tav showed his aging on Wednesday night. I thought he was slow. I thought his passing was poor. You know the way Hearts will play. They've got that, is it Kazadiris, whatever he's called him? I don't know if that's how you say it, but they play him. He's quite quick. And I just think you can't play Tav there with players like that running at him. I think it has to be Sterling, pace and power. So I actually agree with Scotia as well. That's the same team I'd play as well. So it's just a full house in terms of the team we would play. I agree. I don't think Gassama should be near the team. Ant-Man for me probably warrants a start maybe, since it's kind of he's come off the bench, looked bright. He was decent against Queen's Park, but he was decent against Queen's Park, got a goal. Gassama for me is offering nothing at the moment. I think his attitude's shocking as well. And we're all wanting to see Moore kind of in the 10. I think he's kind of wasted out wide. And Olsen has to start. He's got to start along with big Nadiri as well. So I will go for I think we'll concede as well. I'll go 2-1 Rangers as well. And Nadiri to score the first goal. But yeah, it's over to Rangers on Sunday. But yes, we have reached.
Listen, we know we've picked 8 teams, but we know we're going to get Asgard, Gassama,
Magoma.
Magoma. We know it's happening, guys.
No, I know. No, don't bring it down now. But no, we'll just need to wait and see when the team lineup comes out at 3:30 or whenever it comes out. But we have reached the hour mark, so I'd like to thank everyone in the comments tonight as well, everyone for watching us, the kind donations as well, and last but not least, my 3 guests tonight. Scotia, thanks for coming on, and I will see you on Sunday.
Yeah, cheers, Alistair. That was, although we were discussing, for the majority of it, we were discussing a pretty poor performance. It was once again quite an enjoyable night speaking with yourself and the lads, and thank you to them and also to the listeners. And yes, I will see you on, yourself and Craig, I'll see you on Sunday, and remember my season ticket, please, pal.
Don't worry, I've got it, Scotia. It's in a secret place, but I'll bring it, don't worry. Craig, I know it's a chore speaking twice about what happened the other night there, but it is over. Hopefully we can talk positively when we meet each other in the Viceroy on Sunday. But yes, I will see you on Sunday as well.
Yep, it's been a pleasure as always, guys. Cheers to everybody in the comments. There was a few good laughs there, and it was good to see Lauren Shanklin joining us tonight as well. It's brilliant. And I'll see you guys Sunday in the Viceroy.
No, I know. A few Celtic fans in the comments as well. I've seen that. I don't know why they want to listen to a Rangers podcast, but aye, we'll leave it at that. And last but not least, Ross, you get away and do your dissertation instead of coming on talking about bloody Rangers, for God's sake. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, mate. No, I shall get back to it. Head in the books. No, it was expertly hosted, mate, as always. That was very, very good. Yes, Sunday is Jail. What we've been waiting for a good bit of time. This game's been in the calendar. It's been in everyone's calendar, and it is here. So Ibrox is absolutely rocking on Sunday. It does. Hopefully, we have a result by then that does spur us on. But regardless, Rangers, take care of your own business. You've got to go out there, get 3 points, and yes, we're hopefully a much better position than we are currently in. So yes, thank you all as always, and yes, we shall hopefully be speaking to you in a happy note on Sunday.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I know Wednesday night was a disappointing performance, but we've got a chance. As I says, on paper, we're not out of this league, not by a long way. I know I personally don't think we'll get there in the end, but they've got a big chance on Sunday, a big chance to close the gap to Hearts to 2 points and have a say in this title race. Rangers, they've got a right big chance on Sunday. I just hope folk going on Sunday are going to get right behind the team, because Ibrox has felt a wee bit flat in the last few games when we've been there. Maybe it's a bit of nervous because you're waiting for the boot in the balls, if you want to say that happened at Motherwell, but we really need Ibrox bouncing on Sunday and get right behind the team and hopefully get 3 points. And yes, hopefully you'll see smiling faces on a post-match on Sunday. So yeah, thanks for everyone in the comments. Thanks to my guest tonight. We have been Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, and we'll be back on Sunday. Good night.